If you've noticed that your legs don't feel as strong as they used to, that climbing stairs takes more effort, that getting up from a chair feels harder than it did 10 years ago, I want you to know something important. You are not imagining it, and it is not just aging. There is a real biological reason this happens, and more importantly, there are real practical things you can do about it starting tomorrow morning. Most people assume that losing muscle is just part of getting older, something you accept and move on from. But here's something most people your age don't realize. Muscle loss is not inevitable. It is largely influenced by what you eat, especially what you eat in the morning, when your body is most ready to absorb and use nutrients. And today, I'm going to walk you through 7 specific foods that research suggests can genuinely help protect and rebuild the muscle in your legs. Not pills, not expensive supplements. Real food that you can find at any grocery store starting this week. But before we get into the foods, let's talk about why this happens in the first place. Because understanding the why makes everything else make sense. And it changes how seriously you take your breakfast. After the age of 60, the body goes through a process called sarcopenia. That's just the scientific word for age-related muscle loss, and it doesn't happen overnight. It's been happening slowly, quietly, for years. Starting around your late 30s, most people lose about 1 to 2% of their muscle mass every single year. By the time you reach your 60s and 70s, that adds up significantly, and the legs are often where you feel it first, because leg muscles are large, and they work hard every single day just to keep you standing, walking, and balanced. Now here's the interesting part. One of the biggest drivers of this muscle loss isn't just inactivity. It's something called anabolic resistance. What that means is that as we age, the body becomes less efficient at using the protein we eat to actually build and repair muscle. So even if you're eating what feels like a normal amount of food, your muscles may not be getting what they need. Your body is simply not responding to nutrition the way it did at 40. And that's not your fault. It's biology. But it does mean you have to be more intentional about what goes on your plate. And morning is the most critical window of the entire day. After a full night of rest, your body has been fasting for 7, 8, sometimes 9 hours. Your muscles are ready and waiting for fuel. Your body's ability to absorb and use protein is at its peak right after you wake up. What you give your muscles in that first meal of the day can either help rebuild what's been lost or miss the opportunity entirely. A cup of coffee and a piece of toast simply isn't enough. Your legs deserve better than that. So let's get into the foods. These are not random choices. Each one was selected because research supports its specific role in helping older adults maintain and rebuild muscle. And I want you to think about how you might start adding just 1 or 2 of these into your morning routine this week. Not all at once, just one small step at a time. Let's start with eggs. Now, I know eggs have had a complicated reputation over the years when it comes to cholesterol, but the science has shifted significantly. Research now strongly supports eggs as one of the best muscle-protecting foods available, especially for older adults. Eggs contain all 9 essential amino acids, which are the building blocks your muscles need to repair and grow. They're also rich in leucine, a specific amino acid that studies have found to be particularly powerful at triggering muscle protein synthesis, the process by which your body actually builds new muscle tissue. 2 to 3 eggs in the morning gives your legs exactly the kind of high-quality fuel they need to start the day strong. Scrambled, boiled, poached, any way you enjoy them works perfectly. Right alongside eggs, Greek yogurt is another morning staple that deserves a place in your routine. Not regular yogurt, Greek yogurt specifically, because the straining process removes much of the liquid whey and leaves behind a product that contains nearly double the protein of standard yogurt. A single cup can give you anywhere from 15 to 20 grams of high-quality protein in one sitting. It's also easy to digest, which matters a great deal after 60 when the digestive system can become more sensitive. And the live probiotics in Greek yogurt support gut health, and a healthy gut actually improves how efficiently your body absorbs nutrients, including the very nutrients that feed your muscles. Plain, unsweetened Greek yogurt is the best choice. You can always add a little fruit or honey for flavor. Now this next one might surprise you a little. Salmon for breakfast might sound unusual at first, but stay with me, because even a small portion of this fish in the morning can make a genuinely meaningful difference for your legs. Salmon is rich in omega-3 fatty acids, and research suggests that omega-3s do far more than just support heart health. They actively help reduce the chronic low-grade inflammation in muscle tissue that accelerates loss in older adults. Studies have found that older people who consume omega-3 fatty acids regularly preserve significantly more muscle mass over time compared to those who don't. A couple of ounces alongside scrambled eggs or on a slice of whole grain toast is all it takes. And if fresh salmon isn't convenient or affordable every morning, canned salmon works just as well nutritionally and costs a fraction of the price. Here's one that most people completely overlook, and that's a shame, because cottage cheese is a quiet superstar when it comes to protecting leg muscle after 60. What makes it so valuable is the type of protein it contains. Cottage cheese is packed with casein protein, which digests slowly and steadily over several hours, meaning it keeps feeding your muscles long after breakfast is over. This slow, sustained release is especially valuable in the morning, when you want your muscles nourished, not just immediately after you eat, but through the middle of the day as well. Half a cup of cottage cheese contains around 14 grams of protein. It's very gentle on the stomach, and it pairs beautifully with fruit, oatmeal, or even just eaten plain with a little black pepper. Think of it as a slow drip of fuel that your legs keep drawing from all morning long. And speaking of oatmeal, let's make sure you understand exactly why it belongs on this list, because it's not for the reason most people assume. On its own, oatmeal isn't a significant source of protein, but here's what most people miss completely. Your muscles don't just need protein. They need sustained energy to function and recover. And complex carbohydrates are the cleanest, most efficient source of that energy. When your blood sugar drops mid-morning, your body starts looking for fuel, and one of the places it finds it is your own muscle tissue. Oatmeal's slow-releasing carbohydrates keep blood sugar stable and steady, which protects your muscles from that breakdown. Think of oatmeal as the foundation, and everything else you add on top of it as the building material. Pair it with Greek yogurt or cottage cheese stirred in, add some nuts on top, and you've created a breakfast that works on multiple levels at once. Now let's talk about something most people never connect to muscle health, and I want you to pay close attention here, because this one surprises almost everyone. Milk. A simple glass of milk in the morning does something that almost no other single food can do quite as efficiently. It contains both whey protein and casein protein together, giving you the benefit of fast-acting and slow-acting protein in the same glass. But beyond the protein, what makes milk especially important for leg muscle health in older adults is its vitamin D and calcium content. Here's why that matters so much. Without adequate vitamin D, the body simply cannot absorb calcium properly. And without calcium, muscle contractions become weaker, slower, and less reliable, which means your legs literally cannot perform the way they should. Doctors often recommend that adults over 60 pay very close attention to their vitamin D levels, because deficiency is extremely common in this age group, and it is directly linked to muscle weakness, poor balance, and a significantly higher risk of falls. A glass of milk each morning is one of the simplest, most affordable ways to address this quietly and consistently every single day. Now let's talk about the seventh food. And don't let the simplicity of this one fool you, because the science behind it is genuinely impressive. Nuts, particularly almonds and walnuts, bring something unique and powerful to your morning that most people completely underestimate. A small handful of almonds gives you a satisfying combination of protein, healthy fats, and magnesium. Most people never think about magnesium in the context of muscle health, but research suggests it plays a critically important role in how muscles contract, recover, and function over time. Low magnesium levels have been associated with greater muscle weakness in older adults, and magnesium deficiency is far more common than most people realize, especially as we age. Walnuts, on the other hand, offer a rich source of plant-based omega-3 fatty acids, similar in benefit to salmon, but in a form that couldn't be more convenient. Just toss a small handful into your oatmeal, stir them into your yogurt, or eat them on their own alongside your eggs. 2 minutes of effort, meaningful results over time. Now here's something I want you to keep in mind as you think about all of this. You do not need to eat every single one of these 7 foods every morning. That's not the goal, and honestly, that's not realistic for most people. The goal is to be intentional, to look at your current breakfast and honestly ask yourself, is this giving my muscles what they actually need? If your usual morning meal is just coffee and toast, or a small bowl of sugary cereal with no real protein, then your legs are starting every day without the fuel they need to stay strong and capable. Start with one change this week. Add an egg. Switch to Greek yogurt. Keep a small bag of almonds next to the coffee maker. One small shift, done consistently over weeks and months, adds up to something genuinely meaningful. And always, always, check with your own doctor before making significant changes to your diet, especially if you're managing any health conditions or taking medications. Everything shared here is based on evidence, but your doctor knows your personal situation best. Here's the one thing I want you to carry with you from today. Your body is still capable of responding to good nutrition, even after 60. Muscle loss is not a one-way door. With the right foods, eaten consistently, beginning with your very first meal of the day, you can genuinely protect your strength, your balance, and your independence for years to come. That is worth taking seriously. Now I'd love to hear from you. Of these 7 foods, which one are you going to try adding to your morning first? Leave me a comment below. I read every single one, and your answer might be exactly what someone else watching this video needs to hear today. And if this was helpful, please subscribe to our channel. Every single week, we share practical, honest health information made specifically for people over 60, always evidence-based, always designed with you in mind. We'd be honored to have you with us.